Alcohol doesn't bring you closer. It stops you from being seen. And most people think they drink to relax, to chill out, to connect, to feel closer to people at the end of the day. But there's a quieter truth that almost nobody sees. Alcohol isn't softening the relationship. It's softening you. So you don't have to face what hasn't been said. Welcome to the Truth About Alcohol podcast. I am your host, Lee Davy. And this is a podcast for people who know something about their drinking isn't quite right. It doesn't quite add up. And they want to understand why stopping can feel so much harder than it should. No labels, no judgment, just honest conversations about alcohol and change. And today we're going to talk about intimacy and how alcohol is often used to avoid it. Now, you can be with somebody for decades. We all know people, right? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. We know people who have been in those relationships, right? You might be in those relationships and you share a home with this person, or you have for decades. You share a bed with them. You share and have created a life with them, yeah? And yet there are things that you have never said to this person that you have spent decades with, right? Not once. What you need, what hurts, where you feel unsafe, where you feel unseen, what you're tolerating. You've never said any of these things. And from the outside, all the people looking at you, it looks like you have a solid relationship. People come over every year to celebrate. Wow, you've been together for 50 years. Well done. How did you do it? Well, you did it by keeping quiet. And alcohol makes that possible. Now, here's the part that most people miss. People don't drink to avoid difficult conversations. They drink to avoid the consequences of being honest. Because honesty changes things. If you say what you really feel, then something has to move. It has to, right? The relationship may shift. The story might crack. Your future will look different. And that is a real threat. So instead of truth, what you do is you pour a drink. Think of what is happening like a battlefield. You know, you've watched a movie on TV and you've seen a battlefield, right? And someone's wounded and they're screaming in pain and they won't shut up. They're just screaming, the leg's blown off or something, right? And all of a sudden a medic arrives and the medic tries to calm them down, but he can't calm them down until he injects some morphine into them. And when he injects the morphine, the screaming stops. And it's not because they've healed the wound. The leg is still missing, right? It's because the sensation was removed. That is what alcohol does in relationships. All day you're thinking, I need to say something. I can't keep doing this. I don't feel safe. I feel so alone. And those thoughts are the metaphorical screaming. And the alcohol, the bottle of wine that you pour at the end of the day, that is a morphine. Because calm returns. Not because anything's changed, but because the feeling has disappeared. Now there's a part of you, because you're listening to this, that knows that something is wrong. But there's also a part of you that wants to stay safe through truth. And there's another part that is like, fuck that. We are not speaking the truth. Because from this part's perspective, honesty is nuclear unsafe. Because what if the other person leaves? What if they're rejected? Or worse of all, what if you find the courage and the vulnerability to say what you really feel and nothing changes? So alcohol becomes a sort of compromise. You're not happy, you're not honest, but stability remains. And the reason this goes unnoticed for 30, 40, 50, 60 years is simple. Culturally, nothing looks wrong because you're not hiding, you're not causing scenes, you're actually doing what everybody else is doing. Drinking a bottle of wine a night, a shared drink, a soft blur, that is actually what most people do in relationships. And this is a liquid lie at its most dangerous because it lets people stay together without ever making contact. Another place that this shows up in intimate relationships very clearly is sex. A lot of people use alcohol to have sex because they don't feel safe having sex sober. Men worry, okay? Men worry about not getting it hard. Men worry about coming too quickly. Men have, or some men have, performance fear. So they drink alcohol in order for them to become some sort of sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Women drink just to tolerate being seen, or they drink because, I don't really want to have sex with this guy. because he's not really ticking the boxes for me. I don't feel safe. I don't feel respected. I don't feel seen. I don't feel unheard. But holy cow, I'm going to be a really bad wife if I don't have sex with this guy because I haven't had sex with him for a month. So I have to have sex with him, right? So we drink alcohol. How many women have said, listening to this, I have to drink alcohol or I have to smoke weed or I have to do something to get me wet because I'm dry and I can't have sex with him when I'm dry, right? So there's all this confusion around sex, which is actually calmed down and nullified through the habit of, if we're going to have sex, then I have to be blacked out where I can't even remember it. I have to be semi-blacked out where I partly remember it, or I just need to numb the edges so I'm kind of like safe enough just to allow this to happen. Okay. But what's happening is both parties are disconnecting from sensation. Alcohol becomes the permission to avoid the body, permission to avoid desire, permission to accept a 4 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. And this isn't about libido, right? It's about safety. Now, stopping drinking doesn't magically create intimacy. What it does is it brings sensation back online. So these thoughts of, oh, I need to say this, I need to do this, they return. And the discomfort that comes with those thoughts and the vulnerability that is present there returns. In fact, the truth actually gets louder because you're not numbing it with alcohol. So you're now face to face with what you're postponing. And that is why this work can be hard for some people. Intimacy isn't scary because it's emotional. It's scary because it demands integrity. So here's a question I want to leave you with. If alcohol is the thing that makes closeness possible, what if it's also the thing that's making real intimacy impossible? Okay. So don't fix it. Don't act on it. Just notice, because awareness alone starts to change the relationship with alcohol and with yourself. Okay. That's all I have time for today. Much love. Strive on, everybody, and take care. Okay. Until the next time.